The kids, bless them, they're so strong, they're so courageous. And to be able to bring a smile or a giggle, it means everything in the world to me, It's far more than making.
A little girl offers Johnny Depp her sandwich, but she was unprepared for the aftermath of her kind gesture. Lily was the kind of child who noticed things others often overlooked. While other kids might giggle and play without a care, Lily often paused to observe the world around her, paying attention to the small things, a stray cat's twitching tail, the cracks in the sidewalk, or the tired look in a stranger's eyes. She had an innate ability to sense when someone or something needed kindness. At just 6 years old, she had a heart far bigger than her small frame. Lily's family lived in a modest apartment on the outskirts of town. Life was simple, but happy. Sarah, her mother, worked 2 jobs, mornings at the deli and evenings cleaning offices to keep a roof over their heads. Life wasn't always easy for them, but Sarah had taught Lily the value of generosity, even when they didn't have much to give. It was a lesson Lily took to heart, but sharing her sandwich with Johnny Depp that fateful afternoon wasn't planned. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Johnny Depp was quietly losing it. To the world, he was an Hollywood icon known for his transformative roles and charisma. But behind the scenes, his life was in a storm. For years, Johnny had been battling legal disputes, enduring public scrutiny, and grappling with a sense of profound loneliness. The tabloids had turned his life into a spectacle, making him a constant target of rumors and relentless paparazzi. Even in his mansions, surrounded by luxury, he felt utterly alone. Fame, he had come to realize, often came at the cost of genuine connection. When a close friend suggested he take some time away, Johnny hesitated. He hated the idea of running away. He wasn't sure leaving would help him. But after yet another relentless week of cameras flashing in his face and strangers treating his pain like entertainment, he accepted to try it out. Johnny packed a few essentials, left his team strict instructions not to follow him, and drove until he found a small town where he could be anonymous. The town had a simple charm. No red carpets, no flashing lights, just cobblestone streets and a park surrounded by golden trees. He rented a small, unassuming cabin on the outskirts of a quiet town, far removed from the chaos of Hollywood. The days passed slowly in the town, the kind of place where everyone seemed to know everyone. Johnny kept to himself, hiding beneath hats and sunglasses, blending into the scenery. Johnny's daily routine became monotonous. He'd wake up, make coffee, and take a walk to the park. There, he'd sit on the same bench, watching the world pass by without really engaging with it. He avoided eye contact, pulling his hat lower whenever someone walked past. He wasn't just hiding from the world, he was hiding from himself, hoping to find solace in the stillness. But isolation brought its own challenges. Each quiet day gave way to restless nights filled with overthinking. His mind replayed mistakes, regrets, and the overwhelming questions. Peace didn't come easily. His thoughts were heavy, his heart even heavier. On one such afternoon, Johnny found himself on a weathered bench in the park. The crisp autumn wind rustled the golden leaves overhead. He hadn't eaten all day, too caught up in his own brooding thoughts to care. His thermos of coffee sat empty beside him as he hunched over, staring at the ground. That was the state Lily found him in, a man on the edge of despair, his heart as weathered as the bench beneath him, completely unaware of what would happen next. For Lily, that day had started like any other as the crisp autumn wind swept through the streets. She had gone to school, laughed with her friends, and eagerly awaited her mom's after-work ritual of grabbing coffee from the deli. Lily had stopped by the corner deli after school to see her mother. Sarah ordered a cup of coffee while Lily, excited as ever, ordered her favorite snack, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, while her mother chatted with the cashier, handing over her shift. Lily's attention drifted to the park across the street. "Mom, can we sit in the park for a while?" Lily asked, her breath fogging in the cool air. Sarah hesitated, glancing at her watch. She had a cleaning shift in less than an hour, but the way Lily looked up at her with those big brown eyes made her sigh and smile. "All right, but just for a little bit." The park was quiet that day. Lily skipped ahead, her pigtails bouncing, but she stopped abruptly when she spotted a man sitting alone on a splintered bench beneath a canopy of fiery orange leaves. He wasn't like the others strolling through the park or feeding the birds. He sat still, his face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat and oversized sunglasses. His hunched posture and the way he clutched his coat tightly against the cold made her pause. There was something about him that tugged at her heart. He looked lonely, almost invisible, like he didn't want to be noticed. But Lily noticed. She always did. He looked sad. His shoulders were hunched, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses. A scarf was wrapped around his neck, but his thin coat seemed inadequate against the biting wind. His hands, folded in his lap, trembled slightly. "Mom," Lily whispered, tugging on her sleeve. "That man looks sad. I think he needs a friend." Sarah followed her daughter's gaze. She saw the man, noticed the weariness in the way he sat. She hesitated. It wasn't unusual to see people down on their luck in the city, and she didn't want to scare Lily or put her in an uncomfortable situation. "Maybe he's just resting," she said gently. But Lily couldn't shake the feeling that he needed something. "Can I give him my sandwich?" she asked, her eyes shining with determination. Sarah looked at her daughter, then back at the man. She hesitated for a moment. Money was tight, and the sandwich was one of Lily's favorite treats. But she saw the determination in Lily's face and knew there was no stopping her. "Go ahead, sweetheart. He sure looks like he needs someone to talk to, but be polite." With that encouragement, Lily didn't wait another second. She skipped across the street, sandwich in hand, her pigtails bouncing with each step. She had no idea who the man was, no idea that she was walking into the orbit of someone who had been seen by millions, but felt invisible in that moment. She approached the stranger cautiously, her small feet crunching over the leaves. The man didn't notice her at first, too lost in his thoughts. "Hi," her small voice cutting through the rustle of leaves. The man lifted his head slowly. Under the shadow of his hat and glasses, Lily could make out a faint scruff of a beard and tired eyes that seemed to hide a sadness she couldn't quite understand. "Hello," he said, his voice soft and surprisingly familiar. "You look hungry," Lily said matter-of-factly, holding out her sandwich. "You can have mine." When she offered her sandwich, Johnny looked at her like she'd just handed him the world. He blinked, taken aback. For a moment, he didn't move, as though he wasn't sure if she was real. For Johnny, that small act of kindness was a crack in the walls he had built around himself. He didn't know this little girl, didn't understand why she'd noticed him, but her simple gesture reminded him of something he'd almost forgotten: humanity. Then, a small, genuine smile tugged at the corners of his lips. "Thank you," he murmured, accepting the sandwich with both hands. "You're welcome," Lily said cheerfully before skipping back to her mother, leaving the man to sit there, sandwich in hand, his heart unexpectedly lighter. Little did Lily know, the man she had just helped was not a homeless stranger, but Johnny Depp, one of the most famous actors in the world. He had been going through a rough patch, retreating to this quiet town to find some semblance of peace away from the glaring lights of Hollywood. What Lily couldn't possibly imagine was that her small act of kindness had touched him in a way that would ripple far beyond that park bench. 3 days after their encounter in the park, Sarah was flipping through a magazine at the kitchen table while Lily colored quietly. As Sarah turned a page, her heart nearly stopped. There, staring back at her, was the man from the park. He wore the same wide-brimmed hat and scarf, but this time, his name was printed in bold beneath the photograph. Johnny Depp, Hollywood icon seen taking time off in small town. Sarah's eyes darted across the page. The article described Johnny Depp's retreat from the public eye, seeking solace in quiet places to escape the pressures of fame. "Lily," Sarah called softly, her voice steady despite her racing thoughts. Lily looked up curiously, and Sarah pointed at the page. "That's him, the man from the park." Lily peered closer and gasped. "The sandwich man?" Sarah nodded, flipping to another page showing photos of his famous movie roles. "He's a big actor, Lily. People all over the world know him." Lily studied the pictures, her brow furrowing in thought. But he didn't seem like a big actor. He just seemed sad. Sarah smiled faintly, touched by her daughter's simple perspective. Even people who seem to have everything can feel sad sometimes. What you did for him meant more than you know. And on another end of the town, Johnny was pondering about the sandwich girl. Over the next few days, Johnny couldn't stop thinking about the girl and her sandwich. It wasn't just the food, it was what it represented. She had no idea who he was, yet she saw him. She cared. "Maybe it's time to stop hiding," he said to himself. He spent the day trying to figure out how to give back to the little girl. Money wasn't the issue. He could write a check and move on, but that didn't feel right. He wanted to make sure the girl and her family knew what they'd done for him. After giving it much thought, Johnny finally came to a resolution on what to do, and how exactly he wanted to pay back the little girl's kindness. 7 days later, Johnny found himself standing at Lily's door. His heart pounded as he knocked, unsure how he would be received. "Who could that be?" Lily's mother asked aloud, wiping her hands on a dish towel. Sarah opened it to find the same man from the park standing there, Johnny Depp, holding a large basket filled with chocolates and flowers. "Good evening," Johnny said with a warm smile, his signature charm radiating. "Hope I'm not intruding. I'm here to see Lily." Lily peeked out from behind her mother, her eyes lighting up with recognition. "It's you! You're Johnny Depp!" Johnny chuckled, kneeling to meet her eye level. "You figured it out, huh? You're in movies!" Lily exclaimed. "I saw your pictures in a magazine." Lily beamed, but her curiosity bubbled over. "Why were you so sad?" Johnny hesitated, glancing at Sarah before answering. "Sometimes, life feels heavy, even when it looks perfect from the outside." He handed her the basket. "This is for you." He watched as her face lit up as she inspected the goodies inside. "For me?" she asked. "All for you. You gave me something when I needed it most, a reminder that kindness still exists in the world, and I wanted to properly thank you," Johnny said. Lily beamed as she accepted the gift, while Sarah, still stunned, invited Johnny in for tea. Over cups of chamomile, Johnny spent the evening with Lily and her mother, sharing stories not just about his fame. He explained how that moment on the bench had shifted his perspective. He had been battling personal struggles, feeling disheartened by the world, almost on the verge of giving up. But Lily's unselfish gesture had reminded him that even in the darkest times, there was light. Before leaving, Johnny handed Lily a signed photograph, while he gave an envelope to Sarah. "This is just a little something to help the family out," he said modestly. When Sarah opened the envelope after he left, they found a check with enough money to pay off their mortgage and secure Lily's future education. When Johnny left that night, he left more than just a gift basket and a generous check. He left a piece of himself, a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can pull someone back from the brink. And as he drove away, his heart lighter, his soul restored, carrying with him the memory of a little girl who gave him a sandwich, and in doing so, gave him so much more. And though Johnny returned to his whirlwind Hollywood life, he never forgot the little girl with the jelly sandwich who reminded him of the goodness in the world. Sometimes, the simplest gestures can change lives in ways we never expect. Though Johnny didn't return to their town, he carried their story with him, sharing it in interviews and inspiring others to practice small acts of kindness. Months passed after the unexpected encounter in the park, but life continued for Lily and Sarah much the same, though with a newfound sense of hope and stability. Johnny's gift had eased their burdens, allowing Sarah to quit one of her jobs and spend more time with Lily. They had moved into a slightly larger apartment with the help of Johnny's generous gift, but they remained the same kind-hearted people they had always been. And years later, Sarah would look back on that day in the park as the moment everything began to change. Not just for their family, but for everyone touched by Lily's simple gesture. Though they never saw Johnny again, his presence lingered in their lives. Not as a celebrity, but as a reminder of the power of humanity and gratitude. For Lily, that single act of giving would become a foundation for her life. The story wasn't about helping a celebrity. It was about helping someone in need. And as she grew older, she carried that same generous spirit with her, offering kindness wherever she went, confident that even the smallest gestures could have the greatest impact. What do you think about the little girl's gesture? Do you think kindness can have such a great impact? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it.